Listen, man, happy holidays.
We're here.
Merry Christmas.
We're here, man.
I don't know
Merry
why
Christmas
we showed
to
up.
you too, bro.
Where's your family right now? Why are you not with your family?
You know how to take a little break? Come see you.
In between
And
meals?
go back over there.
Right.
Do you get all your shopping done for tomorrow?
No, I'm screwed. I'm totally screwed. So I got...
Today's the day. Today's always the day where I'm like a last minute couple.
Here's how it goes for me. I either do all my shopping in August.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
yeah.
the 24th today. I don't know how else to do it.
What's the percentage? Usually the 24th today or what? You did one time in August and now
I did it one time in August. I did it one time. Other than that, it's been the 24th. But I swear to God, 2019 August, I'm gonna start doing Christmas.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, for ideas, they come through me randomly throughout the year. So I just keep a note in my iPhone. I write it down, and then boom, get it then. But
August
I usually just get it in the 24th.
It's a little early. Like, what if they get what you thought of?
Oh man,
Between those months.
I just don't care. I'm like, that's on you, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's already cemented in. Like, don't buy anything for the next 4 months, okay?
Yeah, just chill.
No,
Anyways, Merry Christmas. You guys will be listening to this. It's the 24th today. You guys will be listening to it on the 25th. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. I miss anything?
Just everything.
Just everything.
I hope everyone's having a good time with their families, with their friends. Drinking some beverages, eating some good food.
Some eggnog.
Yeah.
You get down with that eggnog, Kevin?
No, not really, man. I'm not too down with the dairy, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I get that.
You know?
So, I mean, if you're listening to this...
But you know what?
What's that?
I don't mind eggnog, but I don't know the last time I drank it was either, so...
With Bailey's? No?
I've definitely sounds good right about now. We should be having that right now.
God damn it. We should have. I don't know why we're
We
not.
don't really have too many people with us today, so...
It's all good because everyone's home.
Yeah.
Anyways, like normal people. So thank you for tuning in with us today. Guys, you should be listening to this on the 26th. You guys should be listening to this in January. I don't know. If you're listening to today... Guys, just
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate it.
That's some diehards if they're listening to it
That
today,
means that you want to hear our voices more than you want to hear, Uncle fucking
maybe they just need
Joe.
Maybe need a break from that, so...
Yeah, I get that for sure. So I'm sitting down with Kevin Wong. If you don't recognize the voice already, he was with us on one podcast previously with Mr. Floetic. And we, shot the shit a little bit. I wanted to get Kev for a special Christmas edition to sit down and talk a little bit about, what he's formulated with, self-hired brand and the team over the past decade.
Yeah.
Can you call it a decade now?
Pretty close.
Basically, right?
Yeah. I call it a decade.
When's the first time you did a music video?
Our first music video was I'd say 2010.
Okay, 2010. When was your first? Because there was videos before that, though.
Yeah, 2009.
2008.
The very, 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 very first one, which was with a handycam and all that, was like 2008.
That's crazy. Considering that you're like 19 now, you're making videos when you're 9.
But yeah, no, we started early with that, and but I'd say the first official music video, which I like to say was like, really put us out there as a video production team, was 2010.
Who was the first?
Heatwave. Shout out Heatwave.
Heatwave
was 2008, and 2008, 2009. And me and my guy Val, who was a major part of Self-Hired Productions, Heatwave was one of the first rappers that we linked up with. Outside of a few friends and kind of like whatever, Heatwave was one grinding at the time, was working super hard.
Who was out? Who was really out? Who was really out here in 2008 in the Vancouver music scene? Who comes to mind?
That was a long time ago, eh?
But it really wasn't.
Come to mind, man. You had guys like you had a lot of you had guys like Emotions who held Monday Night Live at the time, so we were super young, like 18, 19, going every week to I forget where it was at, but a few different venues where he had weekly acts where like 8 rappers would come through.
Oh no way! Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I remember a lot of faces then, because you got Heatwave and like the Kilowatt Crew, Faisal and all those guys we used to work with. You got Emotions and like all his team and a bunch of people. And then you had guys like FaZe, who was someone we grew up with a little bit and got in the scene with. And then
who else? SDK out by then?
Yeah. I remember seeing like even like Mercules. He was only like 16 at the time. Oh my gosh! And he was outside spitting bars,
freestyling and shit.
Yeah, sometimes he'd be in the club too. But that was a long time ago, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you got a decade now.
He was even going under a different name, I think, then. But
no, wait. Was it what?
Yeah. It's pretty close to the name.
Okay.
But I don't exactly remember.
Was
so
it
I'm not
Hercules?
No.
I don't know. I don't want to butcher.
It's like Merc.
Sorry, Merc. My bad.
Merc Mikes or something
Merc
like that.
Mikes?
But yeah, I mean, so like, you know, all these, there's been so many guys in the game for so long now. So, you know, it didn't come quick for any of these guys. But yeah, so Heatwave was the first one that we kind of did a series of videos with. So we did one called Chill to 93 Till. And we just like ran around Vancouver, you know, all Van City'd out at the time.
Can we YouTube these? Are these still up?
That one is still up.
Hell yeah.
So if we had, you know, Brianna in here today, we'd be pulling it up.
We pull it up right now.
But yeah, so that one's still up. A bunch of them are down. So then we went to LA with Heatwave.
Oh, no way.
And so I upgraded from the Handycam because I was like, you know, I put some money together. And then we bought something like a cinema camera with like a bunch of stuff we didn't know how to use and a bunch of stuff we didn't need because that was right in the transition period between DSLRs coming out hard with videos.
Right.
So, which I should have just saved half my money and bought a DSLR, but I didn't really know too much about it, Ben. And then we bought one off Craigslist. I think I spent like $5,000.
What?
On a setup with like a rig rail system, and it had like a 35mm adapter. And then we went out to LA, and we didn't know how to use it properly. We shot like five music videos out there, one at Venice Beach. We drove one, like we stayed in South Central with the Blockstar crew, so that's like Heatwave's crew in LA at the time. So Status and BI and those guys.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have crazy footage,
damn.
man. It was during like, I forget what year it was. That was 2010. And the Lakers won. We were like,
Kobe,
we were in the hood.
yeah.
We heard like gunshots go off. They're like,
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
like, it was crazy. It was like right out of a movie where like, a really dope community out there. Everyone showed so much love to us. But there's like a bench press and a couch in the backyard.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like Status was working on a documentary at the time called Between Enemy Lines, where instead of behind enemy lines, he lived between a Crip and a Blood neighborhood. His mom was a Blood, I believe. His dad was a Crip. It was super crazy. She cooked us like food.
It's like the game, but yeah.
Yeah, it was super dope though. But anyways, we shot a bunch of cool videos out there, and we saw a lot of things, which I have all the footage from still.
Sick.
Saw a lot of things that, you know, we didn't think we'd be able to kind of like be involved in and see, which was super cool. And when we took a road trip from LA to Vegas, shot a music video out there. But these were all like super run and gun. We had no clue. We were just running around with one camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of how it started with me working with a few different artists.
That's crazy now because we fast forward, 8-10 years from now, or 8 years from then,
Yeah.
like you have, there's a full team now. You guys have expanded out. You guys are working in, digital and clothing. Like it's just like it's tripled, quadrupled up from what it was back then. And obviously everyone's a little bit older now. You've solidified your team. Everything's very high quality.
Thank you.
You guys, I mean,
well, yeah,
we know what we're doing now.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't at the time, and up until recently, we probably were always kind of organically growing into something.
Yep.
And I think it takes a while for someone to go through that process of not exactly knowing the direction, but still executing. And I think that's a big thing. You just have to keep maneuvering because things come together, but not only does like your skills get better and you realize what you're good at and what you're decent at and what you're not good at, but also like I feel like platforms are changing so fast now and just styles and trends and all that it might take a minute for it to align. Your skills might be up here, but maybe like your style isn't exactly what's the wave right now.
Right.
But in a year, so that's what I'm saying. It's just like there's a lot of variables now, so it took us a while to kind of even figure out where our direction was. But I think at the first time with everything, with teaming up with a lot more individuals now, and our team is the foundation.
What was your initial thought? Like, what was the first thought that came to you? Like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. What was that?
It's definitely like. So then, like, how did self-hired start?
What was the self-hired
easy.
moment? Like,
we had a few friends that rapped or wanted to be rappers when we were like 17, 18.
Yep.
18. And just out of high school, we had a house. We had a bunch of friends that lived with, a bunch of us lived in a house together,
Yeah.
Homie wanted to rap, knew some rappers, whatever, kind of got involved. And I'm like, I'm going to go to school for audio engineering, and I'm going to open up a studio. And we're gonna start a record label. Like that's the thing. Start a record label. Self-hired music. Boom. That's where the 08 came from, because that was the year where we kind of just said self-hired.
Right.
We didn't know what it was. We weren't doing music videos. We weren't doing clothes or anything like that.
Who came up with that? Who came up with the phrase?
I can't even remember. But I know there's a few of us probably sitting in front of a computer playing beats and stuff, and just kind of came up with it. So
yeah.
But what it meant at the time was really, and it stayed true to the meaning was. we didn't really know anyone. We didn't know how to do anything, but we wanted to do it.
Right.
So we just
You hired yourselves.
we hired ourselves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
exactly. So and a lot of people hear it, relate to it in different ways, think of it in different ways, and it's changed within what it meant to me even. But it's always had that core foundation of just, it's about go getting, you know?
Yeah, go out there and get that. What comes to my mind is like self-ownership, self-responsibility.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
like going out and being like, no, like this is my life, and I don't necessarily, the one thing for me is a lot of people kind of get lost in life, and they maybe they have to commit to college early, and they don't necessarily know what they're doing at that point, or they have to commit to a 9 to 5, and then
For sure.
all of a sudden you're 25, then you're 30, then you're 35, then you're 40. Where's your life go?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But if you take the mindset of being self-hired, actually taking
ownership in
responsibility for your life, you don't necessarily need an institution or a company to put you on. You can put yourself on.
And it might be putting yourself on, might be going through some of those processes, right?
Good point.
So it's just always having that end goal and working and maneuvering to get to that end goal. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it might require you working for the next 10 years, but garnishing and gaining relationships that are gonna like allude to something else, and on the same time you have your startup underneath on the side, or you have your passion project on the side, and all that, right? So it doesn't always mean like self-employed in that sense, but
Right.
but usually that will be somewhat of the end goal. You want to see whatever you're producing, you want to see the results within that, right? But
Okay, so this is 2010, not 2008. This is 2008 when you got the house.
the house, and then I went to the Art Institute, had audio engineering. I was barely going to classes there, and I was just like, I mean, like I said, we were a little bit we weren't disciplined at the time.
Well, you're kids.
We were kids, and I wouldn't trade it for anything because we had a lot of fun just like going into the studio. We had a 24-hour studio there.
Crazy.
And some of them were like $1 million studios. So
Yeah.
we'd go there, bring all our friends, and record music. And at the same time, we started doing club promotions through a few other companies, and then kind of tying our branch to it. So
Right.
just everything from music to nightlife kind of started around then.
Right.
Nothing to do with clothing, nothing to do with music video, or nothing to do with production, period, right?
Yeah.
It was just kind of an idea, and we were trying to find a way within that.
So someone told me back in the day you used to make prank videos.
Yeah. So that's actually so it's funny because after I went to school for audio engineering,
Yeah.
I didn't finish it. I was, halfway in.
Hey man, I'm gonna drop out too. It's all good.
But I met some cool people through it, which made me want to get into more of back into media management
Yep.
and stuff. So, or not back into, but into media management, which also meant video production. So in high school, we were I hung out with a lot of skaters and stuff like that, and we produced our own skate videos.
Do you still skate?
Nah,
Yeah,
that
you
was
don't-
trash.
you don't have any
I never.
No, yeah,
I would
okay.
just like hang
All
out
right.
with the homies.
I got you.
But yeah, so I was trash. 2 left feet for sure when it comes to skateboarding. But we'd film skate videos, and this was kind of the time that like Jackass, CKY, all that shit was in. So we were producing like skate videos with some skits and some pranks and stuff, right?
AFV? No. America's Funniest Home Videos? That was around the same time, right?
Nah, I mean that was fucking when I was young. America's Funniest Home Videos on, but there was a show called Maximum Exposure.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
they reached out to us so what we would do is like we were recording this shit in high school. We had a broadcast communications and a television production thing in high school,
Yeah.
and but we would just again not really go to the classes, but we would like rent take the equipment from class and go shoot our own stuff over the weekends.
What school is this? This is
Burnaby South.
Burnaby South.
Yes.
Shout out South. Yeah.
Yes, shout out South. We would produce it, or we'd shoot a bunch of random clips. Really, like, it was a little before its time in the sense of we would take it, cut it up to a bunch of tracks. Oh, I would, and then put it online on our website, which we had a website in like 2005,
That's crazy.
2004, 2005,
What?
2006.
Oh my
like, around
gosh.
that time.
What?
And yeah, and then like people started hearing about it in other schools. And to download that, you would have to like, there was no YouTube at the time. So you'd have to like right click and save it to your
as.
computer, or like click it and sometimes it would open, and like I'd have
Yeah.
to like create different file sizes, and some would look like trash, like the 50 megabytes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were planning on producing our own DVD. So we had segments of us talking in front of the camera about like whatever recaps of stuff. Like it was crazy, man. Like, and
Did you ever make the DVD?
nah, so we had people that were like, yo, we might there's a lot of times where people would get involved in some of the videos that wouldn't be really part of the crew.
Right.
But we'd be like, yo, you want to be in a video? And they're like, yeah, I'll do like, I'll jump off that building to that bush, or like, or I'll skate down that hill like this, and we'd get them to do it, film it.
Yeah.
Or we just have like dope skating and whatever. And the Maximum Exposure hit us up, and they're like, I guess they're trying to allocate footage from all these different people who do the same thing for their own show. I guess because Jackass was so popular at the time or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, yo, nah, we're good. Like, we're not going to take that check.
Yeah, we'll pass that.
Yeah, we'll pass that. I was like 16. I was like, yo, we're making our own DVDs. You know what I mean? Like, we had like a guest book and like a message board online, and people would like leave messages. Being
so
like,
you had a community.
Yeah, somewhat, and I mean, it was crazy. And there were ones that were doing what we were doing even bigger, but it was kind of like before its time with that. After a while, I kind of fell to that, kind of like, 16-year-old, like kind of started getting into some trouble.
You turned down the check at 16?
Just started partying a little bit. Kind of left it behind for a while, right? I always think back to like, yo, if we kept producing content and skits, our skits were pretty funny.
And got on YouTube?
If we would just like waited a little while and got on that first wave of YouTube, maybe we would have. Who knows though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all in hindsight, right?
The what if game is dangerous.
But it's cool to think of. It's cool to think of, you know what I mean? And I've looked back, and there's been like periods of time where I'm like, oh, you know what? That was like a little before its time. Maybe if I executed that for a little longer, so you learn from those things.
Right.
But yeah.
So what was your foresight on, when so you wanted to have a record label, maybe a promotion company, whatever it may be, right? Like, it's funny back in the day, but now as it develops, there had to be a certain point, along the road where you're like, you envisioned, or maybe you even didn't, what Self-Hired is today. Like, there had to be a point where you're like, all right, I want to have X, Y, Z. Like, when we think about Self-Hired, all the hands or all the places that you have your hand in, there's so much. There had to be a point where you're like, hey, we're going to go this direction rather than just, wholesale clothing, or rather than just prank videos or whatever. There had to have been some pivot where you're like, no, we actually want to make something, that's quality. When did that pivot kind of come for you guys?
So are we talking about, or you don't want to talk about just like the transition with clothing?
Yeah, it's just the transition with clothing.
Into getting clothing in the period?
Or even like, again, that transition has to come with like some thought of like, oh no, now we're going to put out clothing. Now we're going to put out music videos. Now we're going to do this.
So yeah, just kind of how the clothing came about was we were, so we continued to produce music videos, which we can get back into because there's some funny stories, or, maybe that's another time. But as we kept producing music videos, the name Self-Hired Productions kind of started to get some notoriety. So we started putting it Self-Hired in shirts.
I remember seeing that on like Hip Hop Canada.
Yeah, I mean, so I was working with, a lot of our videos were being put on Hip Hop Canada, but I was also filming some interviews for them with Amalia at the time, who was the Western Canadian editor for Hip Hop Canada at the time.
Yep.
And yeah, so we started putting it on shirts in the videos, We'd throw it here in a T-Loke video, we'd throw it here in a Heatwave video.
Was that your idea originally? Or who was that?
Yeah, it was definitely, like record label, music, videos, clothing, all that stuff was always stuff we wanted to do.
Right, but did you put those in the video as in like, yo, this is our video, these are our guys, like this is the crew?
Yeah, it was definitely to solidify. I don't really know, It was definitely to solidify. I think we actually just put them on a shirt because we wanted to sell the shirts.
Fair enough, hustle, man.
But we wanted to sell the shirts with the individuals that we were building with, right? Because we didn't know, I didn't really see this at the time, but we were like, a lot of the guys who did videos with us, did multiple videos with us. We created that personal relationship, and essentially people thought, what is Self-Hired? Is it a record label? Is it a video production company? Like, people weren't really sure, and I feel at that time is a little different than how it is now.
Like, now you can get away with that.
I don't know if you
can get a. Could you get away with that? Like, what were you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like I'd find some people, maybe some artists might not want to wear the clothes if it's like over promoting another artist or something like that. Like, I wasn't really sure. Who knows? That may or may have not been the case. But regardless of the fact, we started putting on shirts, and I think it was like even our first one, 2013, 2012, 2012, and it was like just a Supreme ripoff at the time. Before Supreme was like,
that's right,
before it came back like so hard.
God, you should have rebranded that. Why didn't we bring that back?
People loved that. We had the 5 stickers though, it wasn't a straight across at first. It was like a chest slap of a bunch of different stickers. Yeah,
it's like that Jay-Z album. No,
I don't know. I don't think so, but
okay, whatever.
So that was pretty cool because that was our first time just wholesaling some shirts, finding a screen printer, come up with a few designs, screen printing designs.
How did you like learn how to design?
Self-taught. Like, so Mike, my business partner, and me, and we were both familiar with Photoshop, Illustrator. Mike at the time wasn't familiar with Illustrator, and I wasn't. We were just Photoshop. So he learned Illustrator and started working with one of our screen printers at the time, who's, which is because we don't do screen printing as much anymore, but like Owen, shout out Owen. So we came together and started producing, a couple different design tees. Yeah.
Which were like not bad designs. You could even pull those off today.
Not at all. The quality was great. We could have done a few, it was fun. It was fun. And it worked because we started producing these limited runs, no online store, and selling out.
Damn. Off the strength of the artist?
Straight up off, out of the trunk. Like.
Pull up, yeah.
Yeah, always out of the trunk, right? But it was cool because we started to see, all right, cool. And then we started to produce more. Then we started all right, we're really limited to like SKUs here, so let's produce 5 different colorways.
Right.
So we got to see a little bit of the like underproduction and selling out to overproduction, having too many SKUs and not having all hitters all the time, right?
Because you had too many designs, or because you just
the colorways, maybe like what we thought would work didn't work.
Yeah.
Or what we didn't think would work.
Yeah.
Which we printed a small run of, ended up selling out right away.
Yeah.
And it kind of is like a process where you're trying to figure that out, and then you're figuring out, are you just trying to sell online? Are you trying to sell in stores? We were doing like little pop-ups at clubs and stuff like that. So you didn't really have direction. No, not at all. But it worked. It worked, and it educated us a lot, which is what we were kind of talking about before.
That's, you have from 2010 till 2018, or from 2008 to 2018, because of all that work and that kind of mistrial, maybe misfires, and some old tees that didn't sell, or a bunch of ones that sold out, and you didn't necessarily have the right, way to maneuver, or whatever. You through all that. Also, you build a grassroots movement.
For sure. Also, through the inconsistencies, it kind of rounded us out. So, like, as in, like, we're just talking about, so, like, 2008 to, like, 2010, we're just trying to, like, record mixtapes, and I'm working with artists just recording them, right? And then from 2010 to 2013, we went heavy with the music video production.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in between, I did 40 music videos. And at the time, there wasn't as many, like, viral content.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got to remember, like, content was not at a place.
It wasn't where everyone was throwing up Instagrams. At the first few music videos, there wasn't even Instagram at the time.
Instagram didn't have video.
No, and I remember learning a way to hack that where you can like dump. So at the time, Instagram allowed you to record, but not anything off your. You could record directly into. You can record directly into Instagram, but I found a way to like put videos
save files onto your phone and then upload there.
Upload them as a photo, and it could play video and like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I remember that being so whack. Yeah, because you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't like.
I can't remember what exactly it was, but
you couldn't pre-record anything or like have any like production. Like they wanted to be like organic, just like
hold
like that,
phone,
right?
Like Snapchat type stuff, right? So.
Throwback shit.
Mm-hmm. What was I saying? So yeah, the platforms were just different, and it wasn't as easy just to like pop off on. Bunch of different things.
Different things at the same time, different
Which
times.
is a weird space around that time, and I found like it took a while for like some artists were used to huge budgets.
Ooh,
right, huge grants,
right,
and
people used to just dump money into music videos.
Man. I've heard some stories; it's crazy, and even like I think Factor grants around the time were like 100,000.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I remember talking to Red, who's Red One from the Rascals.
Yeah.
Kilowatt Records, who helped me out a lot too, because his roster of artists were the ones that were hiring me to do videos at the time, like Heatwave and all them, right?
Right.
Yeah, he was telling me some of the old budgets, and like it's crazy. They had like Bret Hart in 1997 in their music videos, who at that time was like the peak, right?
Yeah.
But
no, for sure. I think it's definitely a good look. Do your Walk of Fame right here. Who have you guys worked with over that span? Because I know you guys, maybe you're not gonna go and say this on the street, but like there's quite a list of people that you've worked with, whether that's music videos or doing print. Who have you guys worked with over the years?
At one time, I felt like we had a relationship with like everyone that was really producing heavy out here, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone, but there's a lot, because we, so Heatwave and Fazel and that crew were kind of like some of our first clients for videos and partnerships. And then like Tilo Cason and all like the East Fan guys started working with heavy. I've done videos for like Terrell Safadi, done Sunreal, so who's killing it now. It's crazy.
They're both killing it. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Actually, all those guys you just mentioned are all killing it. Yeah,
Snack. Yeah, and like his crew, so like Onyx. So I produced a couple of videos for Snack, and then he ended up linking up with Onyx, who were like, the biggest like in '93 or whatever. But like, Sticky Fingers of Fredro Starr and stuff. But did a video with them. Checkmate at Concise. Ooh. Who were whole part of that Northern Touch movement, and some of the trendsetters for rap music in Canada like way back in the day.
100%, yeah.
So with them, I worked with like Bishop Lamont, who
shout out
signed
Bishop
to
Lamont,
Dr. Dre at the time.
Signed to Dre Aftermath, yeah. Has some fire records actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're still connected with him on Instagram. I haven't really heard the music.
If you don't know who Bishop, actually, he's got some bangers. Dre's produced a couple of his tracks too. Like he's got some
shelves and stuff. I don't know what happened to all that.
Yeah, him and Slim the Mobster. I think there was. Listen, if you actually go to the Aftermath roster, there's a bunch of artists there that are unreal that are like totally shelved.
I remember Joel Ortiz was on there, and then
that's right.
Before Slaughterhouse and all that. But so I'm trying to think of who else. We worked with like Trey Nice. We worked with. I've done a video with like Matt Brevner. We've done videos with. A lot of people, and if we didn't do a video, they might have been cameo in another video.
Yeah,
we had a good relationship with everyone. So
I'm trying to think of someone.
There's definitely a million people I'm missing right now, and but a lot of the effing Stomp Down guys, I ended up doing a lot of work with them at the time.
Yeah,
we started a segment called Get Off the Couch, which was like a show with Craver from their crew, and it was a cool time, man. So around that time, it was a lot of fun, and we were just grinding it out.
You've kind of created like a little bit of nostalgia. I know, at least for me personally, like I look back, I'm from the island, right? So we were always trying to be like Vancouver or whatever. We thought that was like Vancouver to us is like New York. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the pinnacle, right? Because we come from the bushes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember just like looking up all the local hip hop artists, and Selfhired was on everything. Like Selfhired was just on there. Like you'd always you have your bumper, right? Your bumper at the start of the videos and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's sick.
With the little cityscape.
Yeah, with the cityscape.
That
had the Supreme ripoff or whatever.
Yeah, that had the colorway too.
That was fire. That was fire. And that's my first memory, so to speak, of Selfhired, and then to see it grow to what it is today is unreal.
Well, even to see, it's cool to even see some of the artists that like I said, shooting a video with Sun, right, like Sunreal, and then seeing him, him and his team, Byron and those guys, just catapult, and they
some
just kept
kid
their
from
grind
Vernon
on,
too. That's crazy.
At the time, they were like all living in a crib together, just grinding, right? But they were like dedicated. Same with Snack, like seeing someone like Snack. I remember. We didn't know him at the time. I remember him dropping his first project in like, I don't know. I'd like to say it was like 2008 or something.
We were
18. We were like just barely into the scene out here. And look at him now, touring Europe, touring all over the place, and it's cool. It's cool to see the development process with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they're some of the biggest on the West Coast now. I mean, like, Mercury's on Sway in the Morning. These guys are like really, really, truly out here.
Yeah, super dope.
All the guys that you're mentioning, like
there's tons of stories in between here.
I'm sure there's like
I'm gonna have T-Loke on here with me to tell a bunch of stories about when we were shooting all his videos, because we've had so many stories. I can't even get started.
What's like one of the craziest requests you've had for a music video?
That's a good question.
Like something that you like look back on and you're like, man, I can't believe A, they actually asked to do that, and B, we actually did it. Anything come to mind?
Like nothing crazy comes to mind, but there's definitely a lot of things that we, going into a shoot, had no clue what we were going to do, like how we were going to do it.
Right.
We would rent equipment like cranes and jibs, and this is before we didn't really have like gimbals as much, right? So we rent what was like a 20-foot jib, and I have no clue how to set it up. Like shout out to like Dylan from Gearbase. So they're a pretty big rental company out here, but at the time, like, dude, he probably hated me because I would call him, be like, hey, this broke, this monitor broke, this whatever. We had funny stories. We were shooting the east side for like all T-Loke's video. A lot of the cameos would be down there, and like one time we were in the alleyway, I think, and like a junkie came and just grabbed a bunch of light stands and took off. We ended up getting them back, but just like all these crazy things.
Yeah, East Van is a crazy place.
we had to source like some exotic cars a couple times that were pretty hard. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind like that. But
I mean, like you had, what was that? You just had 2 music videos come out just like recently that had Lambos and whatnot.
Yeah,
who was
did
that?
one. Oh, that was that one for Famous. So we shot that At the Sea to Sky Highway, but we had to drone that in. It was like December.
Dude, that was unreal.
Yeah, freezing cold, droning, trying to communicate. It's tough. Yeah. Yo, I'm never shooting videos, and like I'm done with December. I'm just gonna take December off and like go to Miami and visit my friends out there.
You just shot one. Yeah, you just shot one. It was too damn cold.
Like, every year, I'm like, yo, I'm taking on no music videos in December. Then I take one, and we go like we go to the coldest places. Like we drove the other day 3 hours to like Manning Park. It was like -5.
What was that?
Snowing. I don't know. I've
Brutal.
never been out there before.
Brutal.
Yeah, we were shooting in the middle of a frozen lake.
Man, you got to go down with Jay down in Miami, man. Go shoot some videos down there.
I have some friends down there right now. I know. Yeah. I'm about to. Trust me. I'm about to. I should have been out there right now.
You should be out there right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're here, man. Goddamn. No, that's super cool. So we did. So okay.
Yeah, we skipped over.
You
some
skipped
stuff,
over some stuff there. Let's get back a little bit because I want to get this timeline because people don't understand the history and you don't flex the history. Like I know that in your database you have so much like old school behind the scenes. You have so much stuff you could re-release, but it's just like the time or whatever. So we went 2008, then we kind of got to like 2013.
Okay, so like we pulled all our money together to get that camera off Craigslist, like 5Gs at the time.
Yeah. 5Gs?
Didn't even know how to use it.
Good
and it was
God.
like outdated. Like a lot of that was about to be like gone.
Did you get hustled on the 5Gs? Was it worth 5?
I mean, I hustled someone later, so like no, but yeah, no, it was just outdated and it was like way above what we needed.
Right.
So we when we came back from LA, we're like, okay, we didn't really utilize everything properly, but whatever. So
you essentially wasted
dumped
money.
like 5 videos out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then someone got in contact with me who my guy Primo, who had a record label at the time called Black Phoenix Records, right? So he had a few guys signed. He had like Global Syndicate and Zane Gold, like this singer and whatever. And he was like, wanted to hire me for some video work. And I was like, all right, cool, blah, blah, blah. And he had some pretty ambitious ideas. He was about to buy a whole exhibit tour at the time and a couple other guys. And he was going to bring them all, Raekwon, all the stuff, right? Yeah. So,
shit.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm trying to get a new camera. I'm going to try to sell this camera and blah, blah, blah. He's like, what do you need, right? So I told him what we needed. It was like some new Canon cameras that were out. He's like, all right,
DSLRs or no?
DSLRs. Yeah. He's like, I'll just buy you the cameras. I'll buy you what you need. Everything that you need, and then shoot these couple of videos to pay off the camera.
Right.
We're like, cool. I remember I was like, cool.
Good deal.
Bought everything. Hell yeah. Because
Okay,
that changed everything, and that that changed everything for sure.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for that guy. And I still work with that guy today. So like we work on corporate commercials together and everything, right?
Sweet.
But so he bought the equipment, and I think we were like. We bought everything, but then me and Val figured out we were a little short on like a few things. We didn't grab like a memory card that was like $300 at a time for the memory card.
What?
64 gig.
An SD card?
Yeah, it's $300.
Oh my gosh.
So I remember Val literally, I had like a couple $100. Val's like, yo, here, just I'll pay for the rest, right? Like we weren't like I wasn't even paying Val at the time. Like he was just on it for like the like the fact that we're growing something, right? He's just like, I'll come to a trip in LA, whatever.
That was the homie, yeah.
Yeah. So we've always had a team that were like super like core foundation family, and you know what I mean. That's why like to this day, like I wouldn't work with anyone else.
Yeah, they're here. Your team, the team is solid.
Skill set's great, right? But but to have like trustworthy people around you is like second to none. But
this is handled if they're there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but
totally.
we bought that camera and we started shooting. That's when we started kind of really rolling with it, just shooting, and learning. We didn't know anything really. I didn't know anything.
It's just crazy that it's still. I mean, that's the whole concept behind it, right? Like you're self-taught. Like you guys are kind of Russ before Russ.
I guess
Russ is like I do it all. I don't really know.
Fifth time I think you brought Russ. I call you out every time.
I know every
so
time. I have a couple things I keep mentioning.
That's cool.
But it's whatever.
That's your favorite rapper?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
He's white. I know. Those are two things. Those are two things.
Okay.
So
from there.
Where are we at now?
Okay, well, we kind of already talked about like the first few shirts.
Yep. So we're like
go
24.
way back and answer the question that you asked that we didn't answer was, I guess, the transition from clothing to like the cut and sew.
Absolutely, from the wholesale to the actual cut and sew, like everything the team puts their name on now or that stamp on now, like is premium.
Especially now, like I felt at that time we were just, producing to learn, and some things would be done right, some things would be done wrong, and at the time we didn't care because we were still producing dope content.
Yeah.
But we weren't like fine tuning everything, right? So.
Versus now, literally everything is fine tuned.
Yeah, right. And I'm trying to go back now and be like, all right, at the same time, like I said, you don't want to just sit there and.
perfection. Yeah, I get it too. But so there was obviously yourself and your business partner, Mike. There was obviously a point there where you're like, all right, we're going to go locally sourced, made in Vancouver. I'm wearing one of them right now, obviously, amazing. These are not just t-shirts. Like,
well, we wanted to like learn the process more.
Right.
We were wholesaling and, we knew we knew the workflow with screen printing now.
From overseas, I'm assuming. Yeah, for sure.
And so we would wholesale through other brands that we knew and had connections to, or we would try to do some stuff overseas, right? And nothing was coming back like how we really wanted. They always say when you like get stuff from overseas, unless you have someone over there like project managing everything,
actually there
you
on the
don't
ground.
really know what you're getting. A lot of them are throwaways. Sizing can be an issue, right? And that's just stuff that we didn't really want to go through anymore. And we knew the process of screen printing, and we learned the process of design at the time. Like
crazy,
we were talking about, we had no clue how to like even use Illustrator or whatever.
Yeah. Those like you guys are so lucky in the fact that like the avenues that you pursued is exactly what is in trend and valuable now.
True, right? Like instead of like having knowledge in all those little hubs right now helps a lot, especially like managing projects and being able to oversee
everything.
The graphic artist who's way better than me, but at least I kind of can help him with the direction that we need to go.
Or like in audio or like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
but what was the point where you're like, hey, we're not gonna go wholesale, we're gonna go cut and sew? And what was that discussion
We just
like?
weren't getting anything that we liked, right? And we were like, you know what? We've kind of honed the craft of learning the avenues that we're going in. So let's try to do our own shirt, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right. We had no clue how hard of a process that was, or like how unprofitable it might be at the start because, we didn't even know where to get fabric from. There's a reason why people don't do it.
There's just probably a lot of reasons why people don't do it. Yeah,
that's right. But so, I mean, we started ordering different fabrics from different suppliers, and we didn't know what we were looking for, and like the GSM and the weight and the quality and like
GSM?
The blends. Yeah, so it's like the term for like weight and fabrics and stuff like that. So like something might weigh more, but like the thickness and like just the overall weight, right?
Right.
Like the t-shirt you're wearing is like a low GSM count, but like our first run of our shirts were like a lot thicker and heavier, right?
Totally. Yeah. This is way more breathable.
Definitely. So
how do you pick out your mixes, like whether it's a cotton, bamboo, spandex, like how does that even work?
So I'm terrible at making decisions. So luckily Mike is a little bit more like OCD with that. So like, but to give you the rundown on how he does it and kind of together, we'll kind of already know what colors we're looking for, and we'll essentially hit up all the fabric suppliers for like samples, and they'll all come in like samples with like what colors they offer, whatever, and then we'll kind of figure out like what garment we're producing and then what kind of like weights needed and all that.
Yeah.
Once we kind of find the fabric we're looking for, we'll order a sample roll. No clue if it's going to come to actually how we want it. It's like 5 meter roll, right? It's enough to produce like one garment.
A 5 meter roll?
Yeah.
5 meters?
Yeah, you'll have a little bit left over, but you'll have room for like if there's some mistakes. This is a sample, right? You're just creating your sample, which then you have to make a pattern first, right? So you have to know, okay, what the kind of the measurements are. You take that sample roll, you produce that, cost, you're paying for labor time and sample time, which is a lot more, so, like to do a sample t-shirt, you might be paying a few $100 or whatever.
Crazy. For one sample tee,
it might not come out the way you want it to. Yeah.
So if you do like 3 revisions, you're paying.
We've done that before, and there's give or take, and you might build a relationship. You might be able to do it for cheaper. I'm just kind of letting you know like the kind of the range of things. But then once you find that, once you like find the sample, there's nothing better though than having the perfect sample.
Yeah. Okay.
Because once you're like, okay, we've had fabric that felt really nice, but then once you sew it up and put it together, it just doesn't feel good. Sits a little too tight. It's just whatever, right? There's a million reasons.
Right. Or like if will it wash different or like
absolutely right. Damn. Especially the blends.
Totally.
So like having like a bamboo cotton.
Right.
Or having like the
So
spandex.
What is this? So this is the T2.
Yeah, the T2 is 94% cotton.
Yeah.
Organic cotton.
Yeah.
And then 6% spandex.
Oh, how much more expensive is organic cotton than regular cotton?
Bit, right? But the quality, I mean, I really like those tees. They were perfect for like the summer.
Oh, they're amazing.
More breathable because the ones we did before was a heavier cotton with a little bit smaller percent spandex, and it was really good, but it was just a little heavier. And it's the type of thing you wear in the summertime, you're gonna sweat.
And they didn't stretch out. Yeah. Like these are like really nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in their form fitting, like they'll kind of like.
Yeah, we make them a little bit slimmer. Like we kind of like a more fitting shirt, but that's something that everyone can still wear.
It's fashionable, dude.
That's another thing. You'll never make the perfect garment for all body sizes.
Totally,
right?
yep.
You just have to like learn that, because after the first few while, like we'd get our orders, we get like all our money dumped into like, you know, like whatever, and then we'd be stressing out because our one buddy that's an XL that's super big doesn't fit it properly, and then or like, you know, the
he
super
feels
tall
terrible,
lanky
you
guy,
feel
maybe
terrible.
it's baggy in, and you're just like, oh man, we would always stress, and I would stress, and
but there's 8 people
what
in
are you
between
gonna
those
do
two
after it's produced, right? Like,
you can't do anything, and all your money's in it anyways, right?
Trust me, I'm the king of that. So I had to learn kind of just to know kind of like what you produce will fit the majority, or, you know, will please the demo that you want to go after.
100%.
And just kind of own that.
I mean, there's that guy that's a triple XL, and there's that guy that is tiny.
And I've bought stuff
right?
that like a small, right? Like I've bought stuff where like the arms maybe a little too long for me. I still love it, right? It is
whatever,
what it
rock
is,
it,
you know.
like,
So we catered, really, me and Mike catered, so our samples are like perfect for me and Mike.
and you guys are both like pretty small people,
yeah,
right?
you know, and then but it kind of works for everyone, you know. We'll account for that on the adjustments per grading, right? So grading's like per sizes and stuff, like what like what gets bigger and longer or whatever, right?
So at one point, did you go from like, how did you get shit in these fashion shows and whatnot? Like you guys have been on the runway, like that's kind of crazy.
A few, they would just contact us. We didn't really seek out for too much, because you know what? Here's another thing. Here's the reason we transferred it into Cut and Sew is like, we liked our graphic T-shirts. They stood out way more. They were way more branded.
Yeah.
They were cost effective, so you can do giveaways when artists come in town. You can do giveaways very easily. You can do giveaways online, and it just doesn't cost you normally to do that. But we never felt like it was like a clothing line. We felt like it was like a graphic T-shirt line. Like we thought it was like a merchandise line, right? And you know, I had a problem with saying clothing line. So we've had a few fashion shows, but you know, I'd be out there and I'd be like, I really would like, we didn't produce this from scratch on our own terms,
right?
And I just felt like we wanted to do that. So that kind of is what sparked the whole, that and wanting to like know the whole process is what sparked the transition. And we did that around maybe 2016.
Yeah.
But it takes us a long time in between to do runs at that time, especially.
Well, the process.
We took like
longer.
a year one time, like on our first samples to actually produce our garments. And even this hoodie, like the hoodie we're about to drop next month. Yeah. Or next week, I should say.
Next year. You know what? Next year.
In January.
Yeah, in January.
We're dropping a new series in January. Yeah. And I'm super stoked on it. But it's our original sample. We did 2 other samples after to see if we can bring down the costs without detouring the quality, and seeing if we can change a few things. And we went back to our original sample, and we're like, you know, we'd rather have a more expensive item but be the perfect item. No, I totally get it for sure, and I think that people are proud to pay. And we're really getting that now. You know, the transition between the price change from like a $32.99 t-shirt to like a $55 t-shirt, or like a $70 long sleeve, $80 long sleeve. We were worried at first, but we noticed what clients or what customers, like how they reacted when they did. The ones that bought our stuff continued to buy our stuff and continued to want to buy our stuff. Opposed to sometimes you get the cheaper end stuff, people were buying it to support. They might buy it once. Are they going to continue to buy all your collections, right? Yeah, no, totally. And it's also like, I feel like it's a disjustice to say this is a t-shirt. Like it has such a negative connotation. Like I'm being dead ass. I'm being dead serious. Like, or like just like saying, oh, you produce a hoodie, because there's so many there's so many shitty brands out there that are just like, you know, we'll buy a Kirkland hoodie. And it works. Like, don't get me wrong, especially for like as merchandise. As merch, that's one thing. That's one thing. But like as a clothing line or as a fashion line, it's not just a t-shirt. Like it's kind of corny to say, but it's a piece of work. It's a piece of art, like in a way, right? Thank you. Hell yeah. So you guys. I know back in the day, because you're doing all these things for these different artists, you'd have tees, you'd have sweaters and hoodies and pullovers and crew, like all this different stuff. Your logo has obviously changed tons. You know, as of right now, before this hoodie drop, you know, you have pretty minimal. Like we keep it pretty minimal. Like again, like there's just one logo right here, and other than that, it's which is kind of with the times, obviously. Yeah. But I can only I can go to the website right now, or I can go to one of the stores, go to Dipped, and buy. The basement. Or the basement. Shout out the basement, and Heather out there. But I can go buy a hat, and I can go buy tees. I can't necessarily go buy all the old shit. Why can't I get it? I need that. I still get emails for a money bag crew neck. The money bag was on fire. Like I get those all the time. The money bag was fire. We're like, yo, we're gonna stop producing this. Okay, like me and Mike. Money bag is fire. We're like, we weren't feeling the big, busy graphic t-shirt stuff. I wasn't wearing it. Right? I can tell, like, because you wanted different. You know, I wanted the stuff that I'd wear out, and I kind of changed. You know, it matured with us. Right? Yeah, absolutely. But for a year, I still got emails all the time. Hey, or the New Era hats is a big one because we had the big flat brim New Era, super with the giant monogram, and we had a deal with New Era, so we were getting them directly supplied from New Era.
Ooh.
A lot of people, and they're different than the ones where people buy blank New Eras and embroider themselves.
Right. These were actually New Era.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're pretty high quantities, but we had a really good plug with them.
Those were those snapbacks? No, those were fitted caps.
We did fitted first, then we did all snapbacks.
Fitted was hard back in the day.
We did all snapbacks, and people were like, "Yo, where's the fitteds?"
And now you're not seeing people rocking fitteds now.
Yeah, or those type of snapbacks. Really,
yeah.
You get a few people that haven't conformed to dad hats, though, and they want those. But yeah,
man.
But anyways, that goes to say though, you can't please everyone, and that's for anything, 100%. Right? So you just know what you want to do and keep executing what you want to do, and not really worry. Or just worry about the demos that's buying your stuff and not focus on anyone else. Because someone's going to be like, hey, I get this all the time, like, so they wanted, where's this or where's that? Or, hey, why don't you produce jeans? Hey, you should produce sweatpants. Hey, like...
you should do shoes.
You should, you should do bomber jackets. Like, yeah, we can do, but like, especially when we're creating it, it's not so easy, right? If we're just going to do like pants, we can just focus on joggers all day long, right? But then we might not be doing hoodies and hats, it's just like until we're at that level, especially since we're micromanaging everything.
100%. So what's coming forward here? So obviously these tees are still going to be available. The dad hats are still going to be on fire.
We have a few of those left.
A couple of those left now.
The dad hats we make here too, so all made in Vancouver.
Everything's here
right now.
Actually crafted here, which is crazy. Handcrafted.
Yeah, handcrafted. Like small team. They're like,
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, super cool. And they work like we're pushing them right now to try to get something done for us. And they're like,
they're hustling.
We're bringing her a bottle of wine and some chocolates.
Absolutely, happy holidays.
Yeah, she produces some really ill garments and
right here in Vancouver. That's crazy. So what's the rollout plan here? What's the design with these new hoodies that'll be dropping next month?
Okay, so
can you give any sneak peeks, or is this like top secret?
I mean,
because the promo run, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're doing black and white hoodies.
Yeah.
The quality's crazy, heavy, thick. Super excited about those. They're not busy. We got a little monogram on them. We got a little splash of something else on them too.
Okay.
To add a little bit. So I'm super excited to drop those. And then we got some stuff for spring. So
gotcha.
Yeah, we're gonna drop these limited hoodies, and we're gonna really push those. But outside of the clothing, we're trying to focus on content this year too. Which
totally. So that leads me like perfectly into my, frankly, last question, because it's the holidays. You need to get home
Christmas
and get that
tomorrow, right?
Get that eggnog in you.
I got dinner tonight.
Absolutely.
Like in a couple hours here.
So we'll get out of here. It's a short podcast for all the listeners, but I will say, that's one of the questions that I get all the time is, what is self-hired? Like, obviously you guys have me on as the host of the podcast, and the amount of DMs I get is crazy, and they're like, well, what is self-hired? What is self-hired? And obviously I can go through the history and I can say, well, we make this and we make that, but what is self-hired?
See, and as we were talking earlier, how we organically that pathway just took us in all these different directions, and we didn't really narrow in, and we just kind of grabbed stuff from everything, and kind of it led us to now where we realize is like, essentially, we want to be a digital agency or a media company and a clothing company.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing really in between. I feel like the media company it creates everything that's within us, but we're also going to be taking on clients and working with other people and doing their storytelling through our production team, right? So it's those two things, though. It's a clothing line and a media company.
Right. Now, underneath that media company, there's a lot of things there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things developing right now.
And like even on the promotion side, like Hush Music Party, emo,
and there's the events and all that, So we're tying in through a lot of individuals that we're teaming up with. It ties in so much, right? Mm-hmm.
You're kind of giving me the
runaround a little bit.
You're giving me the Cedo treatment right now.
Yeah, right. A man of many but few words.
Exactly. Kev has a lot of stuff on the the back burner and the front burner.
It's all of us. It's all of us.
This man's phone is popping off the hook, and there's so many things with different artists that you go so far back, and then even today, seeing the line of progression to being like a full-fledged, creative studio and being what you guys are today and honing your skills off of these years. If I'm like a fan, because that's essentially what I was, and now I'm part of the team. But if I'm a fan, and I'm
funny. I remember you
fanboying. Fanboying. Literally, I was like, when I first linked up, like just over a year ago now, I was like, damn, who's the cleanest who's the cleanest production team, who's the cleanest team, just lifestyle or whatever it is in Vancouver. And then, you know, that nostalgia got me, you know, got me. And I was like, oh man, they've been doing it for so long. They got to have something, right? And it's morphed and, you know, obviously our visions align and whatnot. But if I want to, if I'm a kid right now, if I'm a 16-year-old kid or if I'm a 20-year-old kid and I'm like, how do I help? How do I get involved? How do I internship? Are you guys looking for interns? Are you looking for people? Like, how is the team growing? Is it growing? Is it not? What's the deal?
It's definitely growing right now, okay? And things are, all the stars, you know, I told you how, like, yeah, you might be ahead of your time and you might be behind, you might be whatever. All the stars right now are really aligning with what we want to do, what we can do, and then who we know. So everything's coming together. So yeah, we're definitely looking to team up with more creatives, bring in more individuals that want to be a part of the team. You know, there's a lot of passion projects we're working on, which I'm super excited about. There's a lot of work that we can also, like, you know, that we're bringing to the table. So it's definitely going to be a year of capitalizing on our networks and then bringing in new individuals, which I'm learning a lot from as well, right? Totally. So just going over processes and workflows and management of people is a big thing this year. So yeah, I mean, there'll be an email like below. You know,
an email right touch. There or right there, I mean, or somewhere.
I mean, either Joss or you know, we got our guy Kevin Hahn who will be taking care. Kevin's taking care of all the bookings. So if you want to get at him, khahn@selfhired.com or info@selfhired.com. We're trying to really put the communication towards him right now.
Totally.
While we work on the creative.
Absolutely. You got to kind of differentiate those two for sure. Is there anything you want to say to the people? Anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank?
I don't want to go too deep today. I mean, there's some stuff I wanted to talk about that there's just no time right now.
I get it.
I'm trying to go have a few drinks right now. But
absolutely.
I just want to say I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. We had an amazing year this year, and I'm super excited for everything that's going on. And you know,
2019 is big.
It's big.
2019 is huge.
They say every year though.
Every
year. But you know, every year gets bigger and bigger. So
you're not wrong.
But this year is
all right.
I'm feeling it.
All right, Kev. Thank you for the time, man.
My guy. Thank you.
Let's get out of here. Let's go. Get some eggnog.
Yeah. All right.
That's a wrap. See you guys.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.